back. So before we get ready to do our meditation of the day, again, let us remember that the Om is the sound of the birth of our universe, which means that our universe is a living being. What? If we have all these living beings on our planet, and the sun is alive and solar systems are alive. That might be the first time you might be hearing that. I don't know. But everything is alive in this universe. So that means the universe itself is a living being, and we are part of that living being. So let us Om so that we know that Oming is perfectly natural and that all beings in the universe can Om because it's inherent in every one of the life forms that are here in this physical universe. No matter what planet you live on, no matter what dimension you live within, Oming is part of the universe. Om. 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 Okay. You see, when more we do oming, you learn to om from your heart. It's not just a matter of making it perfect here because eventually it becomes perfect. The way that it's taught again in the yogic tradition is it's from deep inside of you, and om is spelled AUM. I know we always put OM, but originally it's AUM.
OHM.
Mm.
I've seen OHM.
Or OHM. Yes, there's lots of varieties of it. So the reason I say this to you is because you want to think of like the A, so to speak, as like way deep inside of you, where the sound is coming way, 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 way deep. And then the U is when it enters into the throat. And the M is when it's coming through the mouth, the tongue, and out into the world. So you want to make sure that as you're practicing, don't concentrate on, is this correct? Am I getting better with this? Do I need to do this or that? As long as you're just sitting straight or standing straight so that everything is right where it needs to be, all your organs are right where they need to be, and you practice knowing that Om lives deep inside of you in all parts of your being and all parts of your body. And you practice doing it and you start to feel it. You have to practice Om eventually. I say eventually because you can do Om anytime that you want and it's going to help. But when you practice it with your heart, when you practice it in a very sweet, serene way, it fills you with the vibration of the entire universe. So, in our meditation today, it's important for us to learn about why, one of the reasons why we meditate, so that we can learn to be clear space, clear space. Sometimes when we're being creative, we can make a big old mess, or all kinds of messes could be all anywhere, and clutter and all kinds of things. And that happens out there because it happens in here. So, what we're doing by learning to meditate is to help ourselves to clear the clutter out of our minds, our organs, our appendages, everything. so that we may see more clearly with our eyes and see others also more clearly with our heart as well as ourselves, with our nose, our mouth, with this mouth. Our hands are also like our second mouth because they're expressive. What we're wanting to do is to sort of clean house by meditation, make everything inside of it space. Because this universe, that we live in is mostly space. We think of space as nothingness, but in terms of space of the physical universe, it's filled with unseen light. There are so many dimensions, so many layers of life in our universe that is wonderfully built as the human form is. Even we have problems perceiving dimensions. And in these dimensions, they're all made of light. Everything is light. But we don't always see that. But if we take two twigs from a tree and you put them together, you can feel it warming up. You get two rocks, put them together, you can feel them warming up. People say, that's friction. That's a word for it. That's a word for it. Another word for it is universe. The universe is made of light, but you can't always see it. So you can rub the two sticks together, you can rub the two stones together, and you can create sparks. You can create a fire. That fire was already inherent in the tree, in the stones. See? Fire is light, but it's hidden. You don't always see it. Don't always see it. The clouds coming together, they create that friction, which creates lightning, because fire is inherent. It's always with us. Fire is electricity. You don't see electricity, but it's fire. It's important to know that light and fire, they go together. You can have a perfectly formed eye and perfectly formed brain part where that perceives how to see through the eye, but if you don't have the sun, you can't see. See? Light is always with us, whether you see it or you don't. So, in terms of our inner life, there are times when we have a lot of light, where we feel more peaceful, we feel more energetic, we feel healthy, we feel strong, we feel loving, we feel kind. That's a lot of light. That's fire. That's heat. That's spirituality. Spirituality is not cold. It's not dark. It's the inherent light. So as we meditate, it's like rubbing those two sticks together to create fire. When you meditate, you create this warmth, you create this energy inside of you that's made of light, because you're made of light. And that light, you're becoming aware of it because you need it, because you're feeling like your life is cold and you can't see it. And so you want that warmth. You want your mind to be more at peace. And peace is also fire. You don't think of it as being fire, but it is, because it's light. It enlightens us. It makes us be able to see the world better, makes us have more creative energy. Creativity is fire. It's creating ideas to create thoughtfulness. Fire. So when we meditate, we're creating that fire, the fire that's always within this body. If this body dies, the fire is gone. You see, we're just like the twig. We're just like the trees. When you leave your body, it's empty. The light went away. The warmth went away. To me, the body's warm because I'm in it. because I'm made of light. I'm made of fire. So when I, the real I, leaves this body, I will still exist. My warmth, my fire, my light doesn't go away. It's inherently built into me. I am the light. The light is me. We can say the light's in me, and that's perfectly fine. But eventually, we learn that the light and I are the same. So I give off light. We can prove it because I have an aura. So you see, I have this light background, I have this white background. Sometimes some people can actually see that light around me because it's this background I have, but I'm also generating more light than I normally do because I'm talking about it. So it generates it. Yeah, some of you can see it. So light is everywhere. So even in when our darkest moment comes upon us, light is there. And when you have really dark moments where you feel grief, all you want is peace. You want light, you want warmth. And you have it, but you can't feel it because you're going through so much. Right? Just like when we look at the tree. The tree is a living being. We forget that trees are alive, but we say they grow, which is interesting to me. We know that they have seeds. We actually see the seed sprout. We actually see it move. We actually see it grow. And then it gives us fruit. And then we receive the light that the tree had at all times. Our digestion is made of fire. It's like what is that? SDG&E. It's the SDG&E of the body. Your digestion is because it produces energy. And when our digestion isn't working very well, it's cold. It doesn't have enough light. So we go to your acupuncturist or to your doctor or to whomever and say, I need some more light. Sometimes the light turns into fire and it's like, it burns us. We have heartburn, part of fire, right? We have to treat fire with great care or it can burn us. Anger is fire. See, you get all heated up. You know that. You know, when a person gets angry, their face even gets red. That's the heat. The light is now in this form of that kind of heat. When people go to war and they have weapons, that's fire. So I say this so that you know that when we meditate and we're talking about emptying ourselves, emptying our minds, what we're doing is that we're wanting to get rid of all the stuff that gets on top of us so we don't generate light as much. So if I'm chronically anxious and it's really been such a problem that it is actually escalated into high anxiety, that's fire. But it's not the good fire because it's fire that's out of control. So that anxiety or that fire came from me. Because they know it's because of all these things. I only have anxiety when this happens and when that happens. We all have anxiety because it's fear of the future. It just comes in varying degrees. Some people have something going on that makes them feel like this. Does it mean that they're just more out of control than somebody else? No, don't come to that conclusion. They may be dealing with things that you can't even begin to imagine. So they're burning their energy in a completely different way. And it's hurting them. And so no matter what the reason is, sometimes we have too much fire and it's negative, or sometimes we just don't generate enough fire, or the fire is tainted in some way and it causes disease. Sometimes we just burn with anger. Terrible thing. And when that happens, we lose our strength. Too much anger takes our strength away. So when we meditate, it's always important that you have a place that's quiet within you for your practice, your conscious practice. I say that because, I'm always telling you, you can practice this out in the world always. Yes. We were just talking about the DMV. You can practice there. It's not the meditation at the level that we're talking about today that we want to attain. But it means that your meditation practice has filled you with so much light that you can consciously remember that the light is already within you, and now you can use it wherever you are. You can use it wherever you are. So the quieter that we become, it's also important, like to sit in a place. Some people can sit with their legs crossed and have their little hands out like this in some way. Some need to sit in a chair. It's fine. If you're sitting in a chair, just sit with both feet on the ground, on the floor. It's ideal if you don't have your shoes on, but it doesn't mean it isn't good if you have your shoes on. Some religions require you to take your shoes off before you go inside of a temple. Some do not. It's all right. It's not about our dress. It's always about what's in you and what you hope to gain by your practice of spirituality. What we really hope to gain is that peace, that inner strength, so that our minds are stronger. It helps us to not be so lack of concentration. If we're angry too much, our concentration, the ability to concentrate diminishes. If we're upset too much, if we have mental illness, of course, or if we're sad too much, we have grief, in those times, our concentration diminishes. But if we had a way where people who are in such excruciating situations, and we do have these ways, but we don't always have enough people to help other people. But all these situations can be helped by helping people to practice being still. Because when we're not still, we're rubbing those two sticks together. And if we don't realize that we're rubbing those two sticks together, before you know it, we're caught up in a big old fire. And we've burned ourselves, and it can influence how we speak to other people. Before you know it, they have fire on them, and they're burned by what we say. So our minds, when we have too much disagreement, too much criticism, too much judgment, too much anger, it makes our minds too hot. Hot, 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 hot. And it's like a fever. It makes you ill. Too much heat. It's exhausting. You know how it is out in the sun. Too much heat. It's exhausting. So heat is important. It's important to control it, to be able to bring it up or to bring it down. So meditation, the practice of quiet and from the inside out, not just not talking, not just being in a room that's perfectly quiet. All that's really lovely. I've practiced meditation in a lot of places, and there's a particular ashram in India that I've been in that, oh my goodness gracious, way hot. Sometimes it gets really, really hot there. And little bugs want to come and they want to come into your eyes. Oh, Lord have mercy, right? Or people are talking. You have to sit really close to each other. Here we're like, we get offended by that. Move away, move away. There's just so many people in there that now you're hot from the body heat, you're hot from the outer heat, and now your mind doesn't want to meditate. It just wants to say these circumstances aren't right. Now you're heated. Oh my goodness gracious. But you can still practice stillness. Practice it. And as you can practice it in an extreme situation like that, when you have an ideal situation where it's like perfectly quiet in a room, and the room is just filled with quiet, beautiful energy, perfect, everything's perfect. Of course, you can go really, really deep easily. But you can't live in that room and deal with people all day long. So you have to learn to replicate what you can do when conditions are perfect, when conditions aren't so perfect, which is most of the time. So practicing meditation, practicing stillness, stilling your mind, so many different ways, like we've talked about mantras and chanting. And you're like, but that's not quiet, that's sound. Yes, it is, because your mind is still making a sound. Your body's still making sounds. You know, if we put a stethoscope on us, we could hear our heart beating. But with meditation, you can hear your heart. You can feel your heart. You don't need an outside thing to tell you that. Sometimes when people are really angry, they feel a pulse in their ear. Boom, boom, boom. At the time. When we're angry, our heart really beats. Boom, boom, boom. Or when we're nervous or we're anxious or whatever it may be. We want to quiet that. Quiet. So some people really like to do affirmations, not only to prepare to have your practice in that moment, but out in the world to learn to speak affirmatively. Affirmations are not only a practice that you do like you work out in a gym, and then you go out in the world. You can do that, of course, and I encourage it. But remember to speak affirmatively to yourself as well as others. So when you speak to yourself, instead of telling yourself, oh my God, you're a crazy woman, you want to be able to say, oh, I am finding my way. And you might be like, that's crazy. I'm not going to be able to say that when I feel like that. And you're right. You would be right. But if you practice meditation when you're not so agitated, you can be able to speak affirmatively when you have grief, when you're upset. You can have the presence to be able to do that. It comes from practice. After a while, it's inherent and you live in that space. It doesn't mean that you don't have a little outburst here and there or whatever it is. Eventually, we all become complete peace because that's our original state. We return to our original state. But right now, we're all in a whole bunch of different states, different states of mind. But affirmations are really, really good because when whatever you say after the words I am, you're identifying yourself. And we've brought those two words together where it's I'm rather than I am. So we say, oh, I'm so stupid. It's like saying, I am Jacqueline, but now I'm saying, I am stupid. You see? Now I've identified myself as such. Everything that we say after I'm or I am, we identify ourselves with. So you see what I mean? Affirmations are not only for practicing like in a meditative way, but to learn to speak to yourself and to others in a natural, affirmative way, where your first go to isn't how stupid you are. Instead, you catch yourself and go, wait, no, 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 you're not stupid. No, you just haven't found your way yet. Find a way that suits you. Be an individual. Always be you. You are here on this planet to be you. Do not mimic, copy. Be you. Right? And we need everybody to be themselves. If you feel like you want to be like that other person over there, that job's taken. You be you. We need you to be you. That's why you're here. So you find your way with your practice. The things that we have in common is the I am statement. I always say Swami Jesus. Swami Jesus, he said, I am that which I am. Swami Krishna said, I am that. And there are other beings that I could put this beloved term Swami in front of it. They also say, I am that. They just break it down into the simplest statement. I am that. Means I am everything. I am the same thing that everything else is. We are all a part of the same universe. So when people become very enlightened, they don't speak the same way we do anymore. Sometimes they hardly speak at all. And some divine beings just stop speaking altogether. But I am that. If you look into books that yogis have written, there are a lot of them that's the title. I am that. So I say that to you so that you know that affirmations are a wonderful, wonderful tool to retrain how you think. Because if you tell yourself you're stupid, you're certainly going to say that about other people, that they're so stupid. And of course, nobody benefits by that because then they're going to be saying it to you about how stupid they think that you are too, right? So there's no good that's going to come from that. And it creates the bad fire of anger inside of us. Now you have to work to put the bad fire out. You have all this work that now you have to do to catch up because of you've been saying how stupid you are and other people have joined in the chorus. Now you have to make up for that. Come back to this place where you're learning within yourself. I am peace. I am peace. I am peace. You can even do it in I am peace. You are peace. We are peace. It's inclusive. And it's an affirmation. You're speaking affirmatively. You go in and someone's saying, oh, there's all this problem and blah, 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 blah. Somebody else comes in and says, okay, let's find our peace with that. Of course, that's not going to be the way it's going to happen because this many people will say that. But if you have somebody who brings some peace into it, it can override the chaos of negativity. I mean, we have to be really, really negative to have a war. People have to practice negativity to get to that point, to where it's a tipping point, and then suddenly there's a war. We have to practice negative thoughts. We have to practice negative words, spoken words. We have to practice negative actions. And negative has to do with fear. As we scare other people, scare, 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 then they're going to be more afraid than we're afraid. All this negativity. And it's like ice. It's cold, has no warmth. Mm-mm. So each of us have to understand that we're part of this in various amounts, but we are. So if we can help ourselves to stop, it's perfectly legitimate when you hear yourself saying something that's on the negative side and you just say, "Oh, wait, let me rephrase that. Let me say that another way." It's perfectly legitimate to do that. To self-correct is important for any spiritual practice. That's what we are learning to do. To self-correct. Instead, we want to correct others. You know what you really need to do? And usually when we self-correct, it's shaming and blaming. Shaming and blaming is the way that our go-to in self-correction and correction of others. But when we're practicing inner strength, then we teach ourselves to self-correct. Be able to say, "Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. This is what I heard you say." And even if they are just like laughing at you and going, "Oh, that's ridiculous. That's not what I said." Blah, 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 blah. And we all do this, you see. Instead of doing that, we want to practice, okay, I misunderstood. I didn't hear that correctly. Even if we're still misunderstood, it means that we've come into understanding ourselves. We know we misunderstood, but we don't need to be punished by it, not by another person and not by our own self. Speaking affirmatively also makes others want to speak affirmatively to you. Where people are like, I've had people say to me, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm using bad language." And it always makes me just laugh a little bit. And then we laugh together and lift the room up. So, it's important for us to learn that to raise our vibration is to raise the quality of the fire within, our life force, our life force. And when the fire within is pure, then we get these wonderful, soulful thoughts. So remember how we did last time? We talked about like this energy that you feel above your head, you know, that's your soul. The energy that you see outside of me, around me, an aura isn't around us. It emanates from inside of us. It emanates. Yeah. So when you put your hand up here, you're more likely to feel it. You can feel a little tingling on your head. In Vipassana meditation, one of the first things that they teach you is you're learning to breathe, and they have a particular breath that you learn to follow, and you focus right here, right on this upper lip. So as you're breathing in, you feel that coolness here. And then as you breathe out, you feel the warmth of your breath here. And after a while, the more you do that, you really feel that the heat, it can generate an actual heat there. And you keep practicing, and then they suggest that you take that and move it. Eventually, you can move it where you feel it over here, or you feel it over here, or you feel it wherever, because you begin to realize you have command over your breath. We don't even feel the heat going down here unless you're practicing it. But before you can even do that, they ask you to go from here to here. And as you learn to breathe, really learn to breathe in really slowly, And exhale really slowly. And you take your concentration and you move it to here. Eventually, you can feel a tingling that's there. Sometimes people describe it as like little ants, but you can feel a little tingling there. Um, I don't have a Buddha in this room, but the statues and paintings of Buddha, you see them with, he has the little coils, like his, like little pin curls, all around his head. That's because this chakra up here is our seventh chakra, and it's the one that connects us with Source. We're never disconnected from Source. Source meaning the universe, the divine, God. We are one and the same, but we're having an experience of feeling separate. And as that feeling of relationship, this up here can tingle. And sometimes you might be able to feel it, sometimes not. As I'm talking to you right now, I can feel it because I'm concentrating on my own. And you don't have to be in a deep state of meditation as long as you have been practicing spiritually, because as you practice spiritually, it means that you have faith in the divine, which is your own being. So I encourage you to um, really follow your heart and look for methods of meditation if that's what you want. So with me, you get the most basic because I feel that meditation and ice cream have something in common. If you start with a good vanilla, you can make it any flavor you want. You can go with cherry and chocolate. You can go with pistachio. You could go with whatever it is that you want to put in that. You can learn that inner peace anyway and add all kinds of wonderful things, affirmations, da 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 da, da, all kinds of things to help you explore all the possibilities of your own beingness. But if you have the basics, so for me, what I always give to people is let's practice a good vanilla, just the basics, and then you add the chocolate and the cherries or whatever it is that you want to add to it by learning other techniques until you find the one that you want to do for the rest of your life. And that one that you may want to do is a collection of all these others, and you've made it your own. That will make you do it. So the breathing is so important. I mean, gosh, you know how it is. We can go without food and water much longer than we can go without air, without breathing. And when we don't feel well, our breathing is very poor. And of course, we don't heal as quickly or as deeply as we could if we were practicing breathing. I've been practicing, I guess you would call it diaphragmatic breathing. There's other words for it, yogic words. I don't even know. Decades, literally decades. And so my breathing is that way at this point. But I'm getting older, you see, so I have a lot of years of practice. So I say that to you so that never feel like it's too late to practice because people get older and it's much more difficult to get, as you get older, to establish a practice because you've had all these years of non-practice. But anytime you start to practice, remember this: wherever you are at the time of your death, with all things, but we're focusing it on meditation, breathing, spirituality, upon your death, that is there for you. And when you return back in a new form, you start all these things at the level that you left at. So if you start a practice when you're um, 65 and you depart at 75, you've got 10 years there. And that keeps adding up. When I was very, very young, I learned meditation practices from some Tibetan Buddhists. And that's where I learned that from them. A monk one day told a group of us, stop looking around and thinking that other people are more advanced than you. Stop doing all of that. I said, remember, there are people who are going to be doing really well in 100 days, and other people that won't really feel it for thousands of days, years, because we all start where we left off, because all life forms are seeds. And what's inherent in that seed is what it was before. So when you put that seed in the ground, it starts from where it left off. So the lessons that you have in this life are things that you've accumulated. We call this karma, our thoughts, words, and actions, and the combination of what you've actually participated in, your thoughts, your words, and your actions are now inherent in this seed. So when you are born again, that seed is planted and you start where you left off. So the more you practice speaking affirmatively, the more intense is your spiritual fire within. So let's spend some time doing that right now. And I'm just going to do a little relaxation just to assist you to find that inner space. And this meditation is just so that you, and today, we'll start off saying let's do an affirmation with it. You can do any of these. I am pure. I am pure. I am peace. You can even do it in a way where I am pure and every day I become more peaceful. And stop telling yourself that's a damn lie. You're overriding that negative voice. So what we're doing is we're going to empty ourselves out. It's like taking the trash out so we have a clean bucket. So we can have a fresh start today. Okay? Be aware of your breath. If you have breathing techniques already that have been taught to you, please use them. If you don't, you may want to just practice following your breath. In other words, just breathing in very easily like this. And just releasing very easily. You see how I kept my mouth shut when I'm breathing in? And then you can open your mouth or not on the exhale. There's always two camps, two sides to everything I'm showing you. Some people say you have to do it this way. Others will say you have to do it this way. Some people cannot breathe through their noses easily. Find the way that suits you. But what I'm showing you is long and slow. You remember those things because your thoughts always follow your breath. Because your breath has all of everything in you. As you practice long and slow breaths, your mind slows down so it's not so agitated. It's not jumping back and forth in chronic indecisiveness. It's not flaming with anger. It's at peace with itself, and it makes it so much more intelligent. Right? So let us practice peace together. I'm going to put my hands together in my lap like this. Be aware of where your hands are. Be aware of your feet. You want to have them just in front of you if you're sitting. Cross-legged is beautiful, but be aware of your hand placements. You want them to be open in some way. You can do it like this. We'll get into what that is another time. You can just have them, just think of them as just being open, like little cups, just receiving divinity. So I'm going to do a guided meditation on emptiness, and we're going to breathe in together collectively, long and slow, 3 times. And then you let yourself completely relax as we go through the meditation. All right? Very kindly be aware of your breath. Be aware of your lungs. Be aware of your nose and your mouth, your throat. Be aware of breathing. Make sure you're very comfortable and you're straight, relaxed and straight. And very kindly allow yourself to breathe in long and slow, and to release long and slow. And kindly do it again, breathing in long and slow, and releasing long and slow. Again, again. And kindly breathe naturally, maintaining long and slow. And as you relax yourself, breathing in long and slow, breathing out long and slow, kindly allow yourself to feel, to be aware of every part of your body relaxing, seeming to celebrate that you are filling it with beautiful breath, long and slow. And if you choose, you may breathe in an affirmation. I am peace. Breathe it out. And continue breathing in, breathing out, long, deep breaths of peace. And very kindly begin to feel the center part of your body, right in your chest. Your heart is just left of the center, and your spiritual heart is just right of the center. Kindly place your concentration there while you continue to breathe long and slow. As you focus on this place, you can feel the light, the eternal light, your soul wanting to stretch out like the rays of the morning sun. You can feel your light emanating up through your center, up into your neck, your chin, your face, the top of your head. You feel it emanating through you to your back, and it's moving up through your shoulders, your neck, the back of your head. And they meet the top of your head and continue to emanate out into the universe. And this light is so bright that it emanates down your arms and out your fingertips. And we continue to breathe in peace and to breathe out peace. And we feel ourselves emptying out because the heat, the light is so pure that it gently, painlessly burns all things that shouldn't be there, do not need to be there. And the light continues to burn so bright that it moves through all of your organs and down your spine, down into your hips, down through your digestive region. And everything seems to feel better. It is being fed by peace. And kindly feel that light, wanting to go down your legs, visit your knees, and down to your calves, down to your feet, and out the soles of your feet. You are now in a place of light that you have called forth. You have come to your own rescue in this moment. You have recognized that you are peace, and you are moving it through your mind, through your soul, and through your body. And let us bathe in that natural peace and light. Keep breathing. Keep breathing long and slow. Keep moving the light through your whole body, long and slow. Remember to breathe. Be aware of your breath. We are returning to our roots as a human being, being aware of the light that we truly are and always have been. Rhythm. Your breathing is rhythm. We are not only slowing our thoughts down, but our heart rate. This is rest. And very kindly allow this light to generate from inside of you in that place where your two hearts meet together, and let it come out and move through your room, move through your house, your home. And this light is like sunlight, and it moves through the windows outside. And as you move it through the windows outside, very kindly, remember, I am peace. You are peace. We are peace. And feel that light traveling at that incredible speed around the world, the earth, for all living beings. Kindly remember that you are peace, which is why it's accessible to you at any time. You are quiet. You are rest. You are goodness. I am goodness. I am peace. I am light. Forever and ever. Now, very kindly, listen to my voice and kindly breathe in very deeply and release this breath. Breathe naturally. And one more time, breathe in your breath very deeply. Release this breath. Breathe naturally. And one more time, breathe in this breath very deeply. And as you release this breath, follow it back to this space, knowing that your light, your breath, is moving through you throughout this day in such a pure way that everyone who is around you is better for it. And we offer all of our effort of what we have done today. We offer it out to alleviate the suffering of all sentient beings. May all the beings in all the worlds be happy. Peace, peace, peace. And very kindly return back to this space. Take your time, breathe naturally, stretch easily, and begin to open your eyes. Know that you took your time to cultivate this peace, this light, this energy. Be good to yourself today. Be good to others today. Live in peace. Practice in peace. Till next time, peace be with you. Namaste. And let's just do 3 ohms together. Om. 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 Peace be with you. Namaste.